Hello, superheroes. Wow, this is holy shit! It's 30 years around the sun. 30 years around the sun. This is the moment that I have broken through the decade that I went through in a powerful way. I am now kind of in a new chapter, a new division of my life. A mental barrier for sure is being crossed here. Oh, and let me just plug in this phone as I stream to you live here. Well, not live. I'll post this a little bit later. Still working on the live stream components of this, just dialing it in and getting it all lined up to be perfect. But so I'm now 30 years old. Happy birthday to me. Nobody's here to say that at this moment, but I'm sure you guys will say stuff in the comments, and preemptively, I'll say thank you. But yeah, I've turned 30 years old, and I gotta say that it's definitely been the kind of transition that I feel is very, very much making me rethink all the different things and the notions and the creations that I made in my 20s. And my 20s was an amazing time. I definitely feel like I spent an enormous amount of time acquiring wisdom, learning from amazing people and mentors all around the globe. I feel like I was able to surround myself with way smarter people than I was. I was able to test things and try things. I learned everything from videography to web development and design. I served all kinds of people all over the globe. I visited countless countries. I don't even know how many countries I've been to at this point in my life. And just been able to create an enormous amount of impact in my life as well. And so I'm super blessed and excited to kind of step into my 30s with a new perspective and a new, I guess, adventure that will be going on in my 30s. So really, really, really excited to be stepping into that. I'm really excited to be moving through that stage, and I definitely could say that. I can definitely say that in many ways I'm proud of myself for all the different things that I was able to achieve in my 30s, and at the exact, or sorry, my 20s, and at the exact same time, I feel like I would have crossed a couple of milestones or some extra milestones in my 20s that I would have hoped to have been. And I think the biggest milestone for me, there's really three things that stand out to me as being what I really want to create in the world and what I really want to do. The first is that I see myself as a storyteller. I really believe that telling stories is an art. I really believe that I am obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with absorbing stories that other people have told and watching YouTube videos and reading, or watching documentaries or audiobooks or different things, reading books here and there. I think earlier in my 20s, I was more excited about that. I'm less into reading nowadays, although I think I should pick it up again. And I do have a couple of books now that I'm starting to chip away at. But there's no doubt about the fact that I've been holding back from my storytelling because I've always kind of made it about the gear or my talent, right? And I don't feel like I've been able to cross the threshold of my talent as a video storyteller specifically. And here I'm using this kind of this new storytory setup, and it's still a work in progress, and I think it always will be. But I'm still using this storytory setup to now step into a new phase of storytelling and remove the barriers that I've had and kept for myself throughout the years because of storytelling. I always made it about the gear. I always made it about having the right cameras and the equipment. And yet the most ironic thing is at this point, I'm literally, this right here, these cameras right here are just iPhones. Because here's the thing, I feel like I learned about, I want to say about like 65, 70% of what I could in video production. And that there's so much more for me to go down. There's so much more for me to learn when it comes to the production of powerful stories online. And I don't feel like I've tapped into that at all. In fact, the thing that I'm most excited about is kind of creating really, regular video content like this on places like YouTube and Facebook and other social media platforms. And so that is definitely one of the bigger things that I've been doing. And I can hear the phone just making that sound. And I'm such a stickler for quality. See, these are the things you got to remember to put your phone on airplane mode or whatever it is. Actually, let me do that. Let me do that while I talk here on this other camera. But yeah, I mean, so being able to create powerful stories is something that I feel like I've done okay at. I feel like I've done a decent job at creating powerful stories. I feel like I could do significantly better if I applied myself in a more serious way. And I feel like I got really good at learning about storytelling in terms of like what I would need to do to scale and reach more people and have bigger impact. And I definitely became obsessed with the numbers. I definitely became obsessed with the scale at which my impact was having, and not necessarily the scale in terms of the depth all the time, but more so the scale in terms of the width, right? How many students can I impact? How many people can I share a message with? How many people can I affect in this world in a positive way and help out? And I think the lesson that I'm taking into my 30s is that it's not about how many people I reach, because that hasn't really made me any happier or feel like any more significant or successful. But I think it's more so the depth at which I can reach those people. What is the real ripple of impact I can have, not only on a mass scale, but actually on a individual scale, in terms of everyday people and in terms of all the different things that I can do to support these people. The second thing that comes with that is therefore building an offline school, right? Building Valhalla as a location, our off-grid farm, our ability to kind of build a sustainability learning center. I definitely thought that I would have been hosting this show and getting to the show a little bit sooner because I would have had the studio set up. And the studio setup is really the number one thing that I've kind of been after in terms of like the one room that I would envision I would have in my community center would be a studio. I think it's the thing that I'm most excited about is setting up a studio in a powerful way. And I never feel like I have this studio perfectly set up. I mean, even in this environment right here, even in this space right here, it's kind of cool, but I mean, not everything is here is ideal, right? Like these are things that are just kind of in my basement, and they've been here for decades in many ways. The Godfather poster is kind of cool, but it's not necessarily what speaks to me in terms of what I represent or what I want to do, and so I just don't feel yet that I've found my space, and I don't feel like I've tapped into my potential. I feel like I've been doing a lot of things that enabled me to move the needle forward in a powerful way. But not enough for me to feel like I've truly achieved what I wanted to. And what I wanted to do, what I want to still do, is get to a point where I basically have a very powerful tribe of 150 people that surround me, that I am co-creating with, and that I'm supporting in some way, shape, or form through my kind of art and my creations and my genius. Luckily, I've been able to find a pretty good squad and team and family in terms of community. And you know, even this weekend for my birthday, I kind of hosted a gathering at Valhalla where we talked about building this, you know, the first house there, and beyond just the first house, also building the community center and what the plan would be to go through and create that and make that happen. And so I've gotten a good a piece and chunk of the way. I mean, I've got a lot of good commitments. I've got really great team building around me, and I feel like I've been saying this for quite some time, but I feel more now than ever before like this is actually manifesting in a powerful way, and I feel a new resurgence of energy coming through me as I ground down into the processes of what I want to create and do. And really scaling Superhero Academy, I believe, is the way for me to do that. I really believe that for me to be able to build that studio and feel like I can ground down into my creations and into my art, which is storytelling specifically via video, as well as through comedy, and I'll get into that a little later. pick up my Apple Pencil. I need something to fidget with. I just feel like Superhero Academy and the creation of all the different things that I am doing right now has to some degree been a little bit of a failure on certain metrics in certain ways. And I know I've helped a lot of people, and I know if you're in this group, surely and if you're responding to this and watching this, surely you're one of the people that I have impacted in a deep and maybe impactful and powerful way. But I don't feel like that's true. I don't feel like I've been able to give you my full potential. I don't feel like everything I've created really is living up to the standards of what I think is possible and doable. And so I need your help to take this to another level. I want to continue to scale the impact in terms of depth that I have for this community in a powerful way. But here's the thing, I cannot carry it forward on my own anymore, and I don't want to say that I'm on my own or been on my own this whole time. I mean, look, I've worked with a whole bunch of people who made Superhero Academy possible, from the coders and the designers to people playing the managerial role, posting on social media, the people who are making the memes and doing all the things, the people who have helped me film the courses and done the editing, the people who have taken notes and done the accounting, the people who have supported me in all the different ways, and each and every one of you as the students or apprentices of this academy have been and played a massive role in getting to where it is. And now I want to widen this out, not so that I can create just a bigger academy, because that's the lesson that I learned in my 20s. It's in fact that I can actually be able to bring a bigger team on board so I can go deeper for those who are really willing to go the entire length of the journey, of their hero's journey, of your hero's journey. And so each and every one of you have joined at this point actually took the biggest plunge. You took the plunge that says you will have access to Superhero Academy and the many courses and things that are coming in the future, some of which are very close to ready, by the way, and there's so much more to come. There's a course coming out for Samantha. I have another course coming out on how to build a school. But before I can put that out, I really need to scale this academy because a lot of it has been built through goodwill. A lot of it has been built through my charge forward in the marketing and storytelling for other people, so that I can take those resources and literally every dollar and many more that have come my way, and put it into these various projects, put it into the code and the schooling of all of these things. And I could have taken the easier route. I could have made this ClickFunnels system and launch it on some easy to manage or much easier to manage membership system. But instead, I decided to code the school that would be white label, that I can white label, so that I can build multiple schools. So that if somebody like you says, you know what, I want to build a school about permaculture, or I want to build a school about videography, I want to build a school about all these different things, that I can white label this school and actually hand it out to others and create many schools for other people. Because I truly believe that education is a revolution that we need. And one of the biggest pushbacks that I've had is, there's two pushbacks. Number one, that people don't like the brand. Some people don't necessarily resonate with the Superhero Academy brand, and that's mainly the people who are, let's say, at later stages of their journey, their hero's journey. I think they're no longer represented by the superhero branding, but maybe they're looking for something different, like freedom or impact or legacy or something at a higher level of the journey in terms of the maturity of your career and what you're looking for in that category. But more importantly, the biggest pushback I've gotten is the price, right? I think $1,000 or $2,000, depending on what people paid. Many of you paid $2,000. Many kind of had a different option with $1,000 or whatever it was. Some of you who were there at the beginning paid $300, which is amazing. You have taken the leap in a way that enabled all of these different things to be possible, and now I want to reward you guys and girls and superheroes for this. And so I decided that going to a subscription model is probably the way forward. And I think this is part of a bigger play or bigger trend that is happening in the market in terms of like how people are signing up to Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these different things. People are willing to pay more so for SaaS programs than they are on one chunk funds. And that's not necessarily always true in the world of online education, but I think it's becoming more true as we move forward into the Internet 3.0, which is where we, the people, weirdly enough, are going to decentralize and become the product in a weird way. Our data and our decentralized forces and needs for different things is going to empower us in many ways, but not before it unempowers us, not before it actually gets worse in a weird way. As we transition from 2.0 to 3.0 of the internet, we're going to go through a very challenging time. And here's what I'll say. Superhero Academy is kind of in 2.0 right now. It is sped through what was once in Internet 1.0, and we got to a good level. Now we kind of launched 2.0, and the website got some updates, and we're still rolling out elements of 2.0. We're actually technically now at 2.4 is coming out with small little details and changes, and as we roll out the other courses and other things, and we make changes to different elements of the bonus structures and how those appear and the look and feel and the methodology of Superhero Academy. The biggest thing for us to get to 3.0 is that I want to make it as free as possible. Really, I'm taking the Tesla model, right? Start with the higher end and move closer and closer and closer to something that is scalable on a mass production, but that really essentially focuses on the power of data to empower all of us. You see, the fastest way that I can help the most amount of people at depth in the weirdest way is actually through the fact that I would acquire a good amount of information about people to enable them in their journey at the right moment. You see, put it this way. If I know that a lot of people, for example, join Superhero Academy, watch 1 or 2 classes, and then stop dropping off, then I can create a better trigger for that person, or I can create a better system or a better mentor check-in, somebody who would live write an email to a new student to get them back into the game, back into the system, back into the space of continuing down the path that they had committed to for themselves in a more powerful way. And that really is the best way that I can serve you wherever you are in the world, because you're not here. You're not right here next to me at all times, and I can't necessarily give you a bunch of I can't be looking over your shoulder all the time if this is going to truly work and scale. And so the only way that I can do that is that we would have more data. We would have more of a sample size of students who would come in and actually flow through the academy, both from the purchase side of things, right? Don't get me wrong. I think funnels is important. I think we need to make and raise more resources. In fact, this is the biggest frustration that I personally have had beyond the amount of time that it took me to get the designs and coding, design specifically of all of these different things out. But as we move forward into building more tools, as we move into creating more courses, as we move to gamification and creating an actual currency where people like you will be rewarded for learning, for doing the right things, and actually rewarded for doing the things that invest in yourself beyond just your knowledge, but actually in the system itself, baked into the actual use of the platform. In the same way that when you swipe on Instagram or on Facebook, you are getting those kind of the chemical reaction that you want in your brain to go off that makes you feel like you're doing something productive and creative, and it's giving you that dopamine rush that or that serotonin that you're craving in a powerful way. And so I want to create an experience, both physically and digitally. And I have some ideas of how I'm going to do it physically. I know I'm going to start with this studio setup over here. I'm going to invite more people to participate in this. Definitely going to scale the masterminds and the mentorship programs that we're going to be doing in person. But for all of those things to happen, I need more support. I need more team, and I need to be able to hire that team in a more consistent way. Now, many of you who are in the academy know that I've hired many of you. You might be watching this, and you might be somebody who I actually have already turned to and hired. And in fact, that's kind of the goal of Superhero Academy, is to make 150 jobs for people that can be empowered with their own unique talents and gifts to contribute to the community, not only from the perspective of being a teacher or a student, but actually from being the perspective of somebody who is involved in growing and creating this community in a powerful way. And I really, 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 really need your help to do that. And so I know I'm ranting here. I know this is a fairly long video for Facebook. But what I would like to do is offer a new offer for everybody who's willing to help grow Superhero Academy at the base level. And so what I want to do is open up the ability for you to invite people into Superhero Academy and get rewarded with $5 for every single person that joins the Academy at the apprentice level, which means it's free, and that they take an action. So they have to sign up for the apprentice level and they have to watch at least one class. And that class ideally is planning and scheduling, but in fact, it could be the Hero's Journey class as well, which is going to be coming to you live basically like tomorrow. I mean, I'm doing everything possible to get this class out as soon as possible, but basically start as of tomorrow. So today is my birthday, August 13th, Monday, August 13th, 2018. And as of tomorrow, that class is going to be up. The systems are going to be in place. But I want you to tell me the name of the person that you got to sign up. And I want you to make sure that they really go through the process of joining Superhero Academy and ideally watching the Hero's Journey class that will be up tomorrow. And in case you want to watch it yourself, it will be up. You can watch it yourself. But it tells you the lessons that I've learned going through the Hero's Journey. And it's not necessarily relevant for some of you who have passed the first stage, the apprentice stage. But if you feel like watching it, by all means. But what I want to do is reward you for helping me grow this academy beyond just doing things like Facebook ads or Instagram ads or creating more content. Because it's been massively expensive for me to get to this point. And I think that the best way forward, beyond trying to spend money into the machine and hoping that it works, is to reward those who have actually had the benefits of Superhero Academy in a powerful way. And so, well, I want to get Superhero Academy to a level where we have 1,000 true fans, where we have 1,000 students who are logging in in a very consistent and powerful way, that are showing up in the multitude of courses that we have and will have available in the coming months. And so that gives us enough of a sample size so we can build enough of a community and we can build enough tools and apps and things that will actually empower you in a more effective way, where we can send you messages directly to your cell phone or to your Facebook Messenger in a way that reminds you to get back into the classes or reminds you to do the thing that you set out you wanted to do, that creates more challenges that you can embark on, that creates more interaction for us to have, and that lowers the price point of everything that I'm doing more and more and more. So that we can just not only have the scale of depth that I want to bring to you specifically, but also the scale of width as well, that enables others to kind of self-select whether or not they want to embark on this journey and take it very seriously. And so, the next level, the hero level in Superhero Academy, is now going to be at $19 a month. I think that's going to be a very, very powerful and interesting way of us testing out what that could look like and what that is going to create in our world and in our sphere. And, I just feel like that's going to be a very powerful tool for us to empower you through the data, through the creation of these various apps and programs, and through building a Freedom Culture Fund, which is literally funding the ideas of the students who make it to the black belt of the academy. Those who go from, and they don't have to necessarily start at the beginning, but those who go through that hero's journey and literally come out the other side and now have the duty, and I call it a duty because I feel like it's a duty for me to build Superhero Academy. And it's a fun duty, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. But who have the duty of basically teaching those who are behind them. Because that's what being a black belt is. It's getting to the end of the road in some of, to a path of mastery, to a level of mastery in which, there's always new heights, but getting to really world-class, elite status, let's say, in any particular field or in any particular skill set, and being able to turn around and teach it to those who need to hear it again. Because we're entering a very interesting time in the history of humanity. And so, with that said, I implore you that I need your support in creating this new paradigm, in creating something that will really change the world. And so the challenge is to get to 1,000 students. I've brought on an amazing team: Garrett, Kevin Visser, Ryan Schwartz, Phil Pois, Greg Hunt, Melanie, Jesse, Nadia, Tiffany. I mean, there's been countless people who have been a part of this, and many teachers are stepping up, like Samantha as well, and so many other people who are going to be joining in on creating this. And what I can tell you is that I've definitely grown to be a little frustrated and tired. I've definitely felt like this has been way more of a struggle and taken me way longer than I wanted or it maybe needed to. But, I think it all happened for a reason, in the most cliche way of saying that. But it's time that we moved this to another level. I can't keep this going. I can't keep spending this money and energy and time and resources on this school unless it gets to that level in the fairly near future. Because, the truth is I've been holding back on some of my own aspirations and dreams because of it. I don't have any real money in savings. I didn't buy a house. I don't own a car. Not that I necessarily want to own a car, but I don't have all the things that, by the end of my 30s, or that my ability to even start a family or have a life with a significant other or whatever it is, right? I'm not even sure I want any of those things, but I just know that the problem is I'm not sure I want them because I don't feel like I deserve them until I have created the things that I said I was going to create first for the world, that I contributed to the world before I slow down and take the time to smell the roses. And maybe that's a flawed way of thinking. Maybe that's not necessarily the healthiest way of considering things in your own life. But it's definitely the truth for me. And so I want to recognize that the things that make me happy are important to me too, and are important for me to be able to invest in and save energy and time and money. I feel like I'm doing a lot to contribute to the world, and I feel like everything I've created will continue into the future and will only have deeper and deeper ripples of impact and will end up being a global force and movement that nobody can stop. But with that said comes the time in which the data and the masses and the tribe and the community that you are and you represent, not only for me, but for you, it really boils on all of us stepping into this community in a powerful way. And now we are 150. We are 150 in this tribe, and if us 150 go out and find 3 or 4 people, right? And I'll reward you for finding those 3 or 4 people who join in the apprentice level and watch the hero class. I will reward you for the people who show up and make this happen. And I know that if we find 1,000 of those people, that I can scale this impact into something so powerful. I can literally build a new course every couple of months. I can literally onboard more people into this vision and mission. I can help them live the sustainable lifestyle. I can help them take on the superhero missions that they want to have. But I can only do that if I have the resources that I'm able to invest in myself and in the team that is supporting me. Because the team deserves more. And this doesn't necessarily need to come out of my pocket all the time. It needs to come out of the actual business. Now, my business has done well in many ways. In certain categories, this has done phenomenal. But at the lowest level, at the online course level, it's been lagging behind over the last year big time. And legitimately, I cannot continue to grow and put energy and effort into this academy. It doesn't mean I'm going to shut it down and you won't have access to the courses that I promised you. I will keep it up, but I won't be able to grow it. I won't be able to put time and energy to make it better and better and better month after month, month after month, unless we grow this academy. And so I humbly ask for your support and your help in this journey. I humbly ask that you understand how difficult and frustrating this has been for me, and also how amazing this has been for me, because I am so grateful and honored to be on this journey. And whether or not I've achieved all the things that I wanted to achieve before I was 30, whether or not this academy is doing all the things that I wanted it to, and hiring all the people and helping me build an eco-village and many eco-villages around the world as much as I thought it would in such a short period of time, I also recognize that I am at the beginning of my journey nonetheless, and in this way. You see, I did my hero's journey on an individual level, and I found my own freedom. But now it's about creating freedom and something for more than just me in a very physical and powerful way. And it's one thing for me to inspire you with a video online. It's another for me to build the school I know this world deserves, and that I hope you one day come and visit and be a part of in person as well. And for me to do that, for me to step up and be able to do that, I need more resources. I need the ability to prove that this is working. I can scale it. I can go and get loans or financing and investors or all these things, but all that feels like I would be selling out. All that feels like I would be doing is selling out the best way for me to grow this academy without necessarily honoring the mission that it's truly on, because I would have to focus on the mission of making the return on investment side of things scale if these investors were to come in, and if I weren't to burn my reputation and really hurt my own chances of developing my career and just burning reputation. I want to live up to honoring and supporting all the different challenges that I take on and all the promises that I create for everybody within the academy, both as an investor or as a student or as a teacher or as myself. And so you'll know that I'm doing a lot to deal with my frustrations, and that the main thing I'm doing is focusing on building a team, continuously building a team and surrounding myself with amazing people. But I'm also spending a lot of time making comedy. And so what I'm going to be doing is releasing podcast episodes on Superhero Academy, where people will be able to watch and or listen to Superhero Academy as a show that will be happening on a very, very, very regular basis. Now, I am not going to talk about the podcast here because this video is getting already way too long, but what I want to remind you is that if you can give me the name of somebody who signed up to Superhero Academy and verified or somehow tells you that they watched the hero's journey, and I'll know if they did because I have the data. I do have the data of who watches when. But I just want to do that in a way that actually empowers people, that not just says, "Oh, I'm going to do this thing real quick," and then just sign up for to softly be interested in what I want to create. But more importantly, that people are actually doing the work, that they're actually embarking on the journey for themselves, because that's the way we're going to change the world. And so sometimes I'm a little depressed at the status of our world and the pollution and various challenges that we're facing. And in many scenarios, I'm very excited and happy to see all the amazing things that are going on the planet as well. And there's tons of you who give me a whole lot of hope as to what we can create on this planet and how we can shift and change and create so much more powerful, beautiful projects in the future. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this. If you listen to this whole thing, I'd be shocked. I really, really, really hope that you can help join in on the magic that we can create together. I really hope that you can find the 1,000 people together with me that will take on the world's biggest challenges and step up to the plate in a powerful way. So with that, I will leave you. All the links are going to be in the description for my new podcast. I will start putting those links and stuff there. But for the $5 thing, it starts tomorrow, August 14th. It will last for, as long as people are doing it. There'll be no limit for now. I just want to make this happen as much as possible. And thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting me in my 20s. in my life up to this point so far. And thank you for being a part of the tribe. And thank you so much for engaging and participating. And let's drum up some energy. Let's get some fire lit behind all of us, and let's get going. So, yeah, we'll talk to you soon.